Today's programme is called Free to Be Me and focuses on SAT-7's work with children in Lebanon, especially in the aftermath of the COVID-19 lockdown and the massive explosion in the Lebanese capital, Beirut. The explosion threw SAT-7's Juliana Sphere, who manages SAT-7's educational programmes from their Beirut studio, out of her chair and onto the floor. Let's hear a short report now from Juliana.
This place witnessed something we have never witnessed before in all of our years of the Civil War. This tragedy today amounts to 135 dead, to 5,000 injured, a lot of people missing, 300,000 families homeless. Behind me is one of the initiatives of the youth of Lebanon, the youth of Beirut, cleaning, distributing water to those who are volunteering, distributing sandwiches, bread to the old people, to all those who live alone. Please pray for us here at SAT-7 to be the church that heals, to be the church, the wounded church that will be able to extend healing to the people on the air and on the ground. Thank you.
You can hear more about how to support SAT-7 later in the programme. Now, in the midst of all this, it was a real privilege last week for me to make a new friend with Marianne. Now, she is a presenter with SAT-7 Kids, a dedicated children's Arabic channel, which broadcasts from SAT-7's biggest studio in Beirut. Well, I heard Marianne talk about how, in the midst of it all, faith-filled television is bringing freedom and joy to children in the Middle East. I am really pleased that we can go live to her and her team right now, as they have just finished broadcasting their new live children's show called Hello Marianne. So let's join her now. Hi, wow, Marianne, that was so great. It's great to see you. How are you all doing?
Hi, Gemma. It's great to be with you today. Thank you so much. We're doing great.
I believe that you live in or just near Beirut in Lebanon, and we've just been sharing with the viewers how things have been particularly difficult there since the explosion. Can you share with us how it affected you?
Yeah, well, my husband, my 4-year-old boy, Noah, we were dining together in an outside place, and the explosion happened. We definitely got scared. We heard 2 explosions consecutively. Noah hung on to me, and he told me, I'm afraid, Mommy, because a lot of people started shouting, crying. I'm sure we all remembered, like scenes from the war we've lived in Lebanon before. Many people were having panic attacks. All I could do was hug him and start praying, saying, Jesus, Jesus, and asking God for protection. Yeah.
And you wanted to continue the output of SAT-7 as well. So you and your husband started to broadcast live from the roof of the building so that you could still put out the message of hope to people. Yeah. So what was that like?
Well, it was such an emotional evening, because seeing people of our country suffer, most of them lost their houses, some of them lost their loved ones. It was so heartbreaking. So we wanted just to have an evening of worship and prayer. We prayed for the hurt tearfully, because it reminded us, the Lord is close to all those who are brokenhearted and crushed by pain, and He is always ready to restore them.
That is truly amazing, and it looks so beautiful. What a blessing you and your husband and your team are to your community. So how do you feel now that the mood is in the city? Do you feel like that has really helped to lift people's spirits?
Well, when the explosion happened, many streets were wiped away, many schools were even destroyed, hospitals could not, have enough place for everyone there. But the beautiful thing that happened, out of ashes comes beauty. If you go now to the streets in Beirut, you would find youth from different churches, from different religions as well, just you know, uniting their efforts to reconstruct houses, to give food to people there, to take care of the emotional needs of people. Many psychologists as well are going there, talking to children, helping them out. And SAT-7 has done beautiful initiatives as well, going out on the street, distributing refreshments and food, breakfast for the people. So, you know, this just makes me so happy to see people united again in Lebanon.
It's truly inspirational. I am so in awe of all that you've been doing. How did you get into presenting for children and getting involved with SAT-7?
Well, I began presenting programs for kids on SAT-7 when I was only 10. I was such an introvert and shy person. And it was for me a mere job from which I took my pocket money. But then at a worship conference when I was 14, I truly experienced what the presence of God is. And this changed my whole view of God. He ceased to be the faraway God from whom I was scared and I wanted to only please because I'm afraid of a punishment. He became a father and a really close friend to me, with whom I could share anything, you know. I used to go to him, to cry out to him and make a song. I would write a song to express my love and my feelings to him. And that's why now I really focus on worship in every show I do. I want to teach kids to connect to God through worship, to lift a song of praise, a song of, you know, like a sadness. I express my sadness to him, my gratitude to him. So worship for me is key to my relationship with God.
It's amazing that you can make it so much a part of the job that you do. I think for me, I've worked in TV for a very long time and haven't always been able to openly share my faith. And yet I had this prophetic word that was spoken over me when I was about 16, that I would be salt and light in the dark place of the media. I know that Jesus and his light is shining out of me in the places that I'm working in, which is pretty awesome.
Definitely. May I know what have you been through as a kid and that drew you closer to God?
Well, my parents separated when I was 3 or 4 years old. And so I think my whole world just changed very quickly. Everything that I saw as normal then became very different. And that's something we can all relate to in the current climate. But at that young age, I just felt like, what is going on? And thankfully, my mum has always been a church goer, and I continue to go to church with my mum. When I was visiting my dad, I didn't get to go. The weekends I was with my mum, I actually got to go to church. And I think it was through the church community, knowing who Jesus was, that he loved me, even though my parents didn't love one another anymore. It wasn't because of me, and he made me feel valued and appreciated in the church. And yet my home life was very different, but I had this assurance of who I was in Christ. And that has definitely been the one thing that has been like my backbone throughout my whole walk, my whole journey through life. Just knowing that Jesus is there. And it's like people say, oh, it's terrible to have a crutch. I'm like, Jesus is my crutch. I'm going to lean on him because he gets me through everything. How are you coping without him?
Yeah, definitely. You're definitely right. Thank you for sharing that.
No, it's a pleasure. Now, just a few moments ago, you finished your wonderful show, Hello, Marianne, where children in Lebanon can actually call in live and take part in the show. How have you been helping support children and their mental health in this time?
After the explosion, we started encouraging viewers, even in Lebanon, to call, to express their feelings. It was okay to feel sad or afraid, but they need to take it out, you know, to put it in the right place. So we launched, you know, like a campaign where we would encourage kids to send us videos of them, maybe singing, acting, drawing, to just put everything out. And this is, I think, a very good kind of therapy to let them know that they're not alone. We're here to support them, to listen to them, and we want them to express what's inside. The lines were flooded with callers. We feel that we built these beautiful bridges between kids from all over the Arab world. They feel that they have a support system, people, friends praying for them from all over the world, supporting them, thinking of them, and this alone makes you feel, you know, valued and loved and cared for. And I think this is the need of each person, let alone kids.
Definitely. And you said how it's like therapy for the children. And
Yeah.
so I suppose for you, being a singer-songwriter, that's like therapy for you as well, especially having gone through the war in Lebanon in 2006. So do you think that this current sort of war that we find us in, the war with coronavirus, is really going to help children and their faith through SAT-7 in this time?
The Bible is full of promises of security and that he's always here beside us. You know, there's a verse that I really love. It says, I can hide and rest secure under the shadows of the Almighty. He will protect me from deadly diseases, from wars raged against me. So I just want them to know that take your feelings and put them in his hands. Trust in him.
It truly is inspirational. What you're doing is wonderful, and we will keep praying for all of those things as well. Thank you so much. We've really enjoyed spending time with you today. Could you teach me in Arabic how to say thank you and goodbye?
Shukran, goodbye,
Shukran, shukran, ma salam. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Now, I hope that you have been challenged and inspired by what you've heard and seen today. I know that I have. Now, as a mum and someone who works with children in media, I think it's really crucial to help kids reach their potential and find real joy. All over the world, families are finding life really difficult, but in places like the Middle East, the challenges are long-standing. Even before the pandemic, conflicts, uprisings and poverty prevented children from learning and flourishing, from being free to be me. But in the midst of it all, as you've heard today, SAT-7 broadcasts faith-filled programs that bring joy into millions of homes. Will you help? Will you become a joy bringer today? Just £10 a month enables SAT-7 to broadcast joy to over 240 children for a whole year. To find out more, please call 0300 365 0377 or visit sat7uk.org. Now, it just leaves me to say shukran for watching and for your support, and goodbye. Ma salama.